Yo, what is up guys? It is MtgGalaxy here bringing you another video, and I know I haven't uploaded in like a month, but that's okay because today we have some Guilds of Ravnica spoilers. So let's just jump into these real quick. So first, the 5 guilds that are going to be featured in Guilds of Ravnica are Izzet, Golgari, Dimir, Selesnya, and Boros. And the reason I know this is because the Shocklands are getting reprinted. This is so great, it'll help the prices of modern decks so much. And previously they were about, I don't know, 10, 15 bucks, maybe, I think 10 to 15 bucks, 15 being the highest. Now they should be going down a significant amount because of these reprints, hopefully. Hopefully the people on the secondary market don't make the price jump so that they're still unmanageable to get a hold of for normal players, but overall this should be great. Now, the mechanics of each guild. First, for the Dimir guild, we have Sinister Sabotage. 1 colorless and 2 blue for an instant. Counter target spell. That's just a cancel, nobody cares. But it has this interesting ability, which is Surveil 1. Which is, look at the top card of your library. You may put it into your graveyard. This is really cool, and it's kind of like a scry effect if you can get the most effect out of it. It also works pretty well with a second card that was spoiled, Narcomoeba. This is a reprint, and if you don't know what it is 1 colorless and a blue for a creature illusion 1/1 flyer. But if it's put into your graveyard from your library, you may put it onto the battlefield. This is a reprint. Everyone knows Narcomoeba. Like, it's a key component in a lot of combo decks in Legacy. For example, the turn 1, I forget what it's called. I think it's called Oops All Spells, but I don't know. Something like that. But yeah, this is a really cool reprint, as well as the Surveil mechanic does seem pretty cool as well. Alright, the next one is Legion War Boss. 2 colorless and a red for a 2/2 Goblin Soldier with Mentor. And Mentor is the Boros mechanic for this set, and it's whenever this creature attacks, put a +1/+1 counter on target attacking creature with lesser power. So essentially, if this guy attacks, you can put a +1/+1 counter on a 1/1. So that's not really that good, especially with something with this low power, but it has a second ability. At the beginning of combat on your turn, create a 1/1 red goblin creature token. That token gains haste until end of turn and attacks this combat if able. So basically, it has a built-in ability with Mentor that can make the goblins it creates 2/2s instead of 1/1s. That's a pretty sweet ability, and I think it will go on the top end of some mono-red aggro decks. Or hey, maybe even Boros aggro if we see enough aggressive white creatures. Next, we have Necrotic Wound. 1 black for an instant, but it has Undergrowth. Target creature gets -X/-X until end of turn, where X is the number of creature cards in your graveyard. If that creature would die this turn, exile it instead. So Undergrowth is essentially put as many creature cards into your graveyard and then reap the benefits from what that happens. In this case, it's removing a creature and exiling it. That seems pretty good, even though I do know that Scrap Heap Scrounger is going out when this comes in. It still seems like a pretty cool effect, and if you get a lot of creatures in your graveyard, it can take down some big dudes. Next, we have Quadruplicate, 1 colorless and 2 blue for a sorcery. Create a token that's a copy of target creature you control, and it has Jumpstart. Jumpstart is, you may cast this card from your graveyard by discarding a card in addition to paying its other costs. Then exile this card. This seems like a fixed version of Retrace, even though it has... This seems like a fixed version of Retrace, even though it has to be exiled afterwards, so it can't be cast essentially infinite amount of times. This is just discarding any card, not just necessarily a land card. This seems like a direct upgrade from Cackling Counterparts, and this seems like it would be a pretty cool card, but I don't think it's going to do much in Standard. But if it does do anything, it'll be in Commander. Next, we have the Selesnya block mechanic, and it's a mechanic that we've seen twice, I think. Guilds of Ravnica and M15. It's Convoke. The card that I'm showing off right now is Conclave Tribunal. 3 colorless and a white for an enchantment with Convoke. When it enters the battlefield, exile target non-land permanent an opponent controls until it leaves the battlefield. This could go in a pretty cool even though I know it is Selesnya, it can go in a pretty cool Boros aggro deck, where essentially if you just tap down a creature of your own, it's an Oblivion Ring, which is a pretty cool effect. I'm glad that we have another one of these enchantment non-land removal cards in Standard, and I think it'll do some okay work. Alright guys, that's it for the Guild New Mechanics Spotlight. Now let's get into some other cards. Amara, Soul of the Accord, is 1 Selesnya for a 2/2 legendary creature elf cleric. Whenever Amara, Soul of the Accord, becomes tapped, create a 1/1 white soldier creature token with lifelink. This is very cool with the Convoke ability. It essentially lets you tap her to create another guy that can either block for you if necessary, or it can be helped to cast out another Convoke spell. If done right, this could possibly get up to 2 spells with Convoke a turn, which can essentially give you, essentially it could give you a Soul Ring. If you have 4 mana and there's 2/3 CMC Convoke. You know what I mean, the card's pretty good in a Convoke deck. Alright guys, I'm liking this one. Next we have Thought Erasure, 1 Dimir for a sorcery. Target opponent reveals their hand. You choose a non-land card from it. That player discards that card, and it has Surveil 1, which we've talked about earlier. I'm not calling this a Thoughtseize because it isn't. The main appeal of Thoughtseize is that it can be cast on turn 1, where most mid-range decks don't have much else to cast. This might see some standard play, I'm not completely sure about it. The Surveil is pretty cool, and not losing the life is fine, but getting 1 black and 1 blue on turn 2 is kind of difficult, even with like the Watery Grave and stuff. I don't know. I don't know how to feel about this card. It should see a little bit of standard play, but I don't know if it's going to be comparable to Thoughtseize. Next we have Boros Challenger. 1 Boros for a 2/3 human soldier with Mentor, and we discussed Mentor already. And you can pay 2 and 1 Boros, so 4 CMC, to give it +1/+1 until end of turn. I mean, I don't think this card's going to see play. It will be a limited bomb, that's for sure. But as we've already discussed, the 2 power, you have to put something on a 1 or 0 power creature, which I don't know is going to be that great. You can buff it, but I think that's going to be a little bit pricey for what you're getting. Alright guys, we have 2 more cards for today. The first one is Underrealm Lich, 3 colorless and 1 Golgari for a 4/3 zombie elf shaman. It has, if you would draw a card, instead look at the top 3 cards of your library, then put 1 into your hand and the rest into your graveyard. You can also pay 4 life and give it indestructible until end of turn. Tap it. This seems like a very cool card. Basically what it does is it lets you go 3 cards deep instead of 1 card, dump the other 2 into your graveyard, and it can help fuel the new Golgari mechanic that we just looked at. I think this is a very cool card, and the pay 4 life does seem kind of like a steep price. Paying 20% of your life total basically just turns every one of their removal spells into a Stoke the Flames. I don't know that that'll be used very much, but if it's like just came down and you don't get to draw many cards off of it, maybe you can use it once. I don't really know. I think this card's going to be pretty cool for that first effect in some standard decks. A commander, it'll definitely be an all-star, but I don't know that it's going to see heavy play. Now we have our final card spoiled for the day. Rawl, Izzet Viceroy. 3 colorless and 1 Izzet for a 5 loyalty legendary planeswalker Rawl. He has a +1, a -3, and a -8. +1, look at the top 2 cards of your library. Put 1 of them into your hand and the other into your graveyard. -3, Rawl Izzet Viceroy deals damage to target creature equal to the total number of instant and sorcery cards you own in exile and in your graveyard. That works pretty well with the jumpstart mechanic. And -8, you get an emblem with, whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, this emblem deals 4 damage to any target and you draw 2 cards. I really like this Planeswalker. I know he won't see that much standard play because he is too specific in the amount of decks that'll want to run him. Mid-range decks won't necessarily want him, and control decks will definitely want him, but I don't know if that can fill out their win condition. Even though the -3 will be excellent for removing things, because especially you can have the jumpstart cards. Hopefully we see some more sweet jumpstart cards. You can have those count as your total. I don't know that many decks will want to run him, even though the +2 is really good filtering and the -3 is really good removal. I don't know. He seems too specialized for a lot of the decks right now. And that's it for the Week 1, Day 1 Guilds of Ravnica. Even though I know it is supposed to start tomorrow, we've already got some sweet cards today. Thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, this video is brought to you by you, the subscriber. Be sure to subscribe to the MtgGalaxy YouTube channel for all the Guilds of Ravnica spoilers coming soon. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you guys all in the next video.